I'm going to say this right off the bat. You are a creative person. And if that statement scares you, takes you aback, sends you staggering 3 feet backwards into your seat. Oh what? Vous parlez de moi, you don't mean me, right? I'm not creative. When I draw stuff, it looks like a little kid drew it. When I sing, deaf people cover their ears. When I make PowerPoint slides, it looks like a boomer's good morning sticker. But you heard me right, you are creative. It is human nature to be creative. The reason why the human race is thriving is because human beings are creative beings. To prove that you are a creative person, I will define what creativity means so that we are all on the same page. When people think of a creative person, what people normally think of is this super ubermensch of a person who can create things out of nothing, like God in the 6 days of the Genesis. Let there be light, and then there was light. But that is not what creativity is about at all. And to prove that, we will try this exercise, alright? Think of a new color. A color that does not exist yet. Yeah, that's impossible, right? Because all the colors that do exist already exist. Unless we gain the power to see like the colors of infrared, ultraviolet rays, we will never see new colors in our lifetime. Okay, so we cannot invent new colors. That's like the biggest news I've ever heard. How about this? Imagine yourself as somebody who has never seen a book. Now I'm going to tell you to write a book. And then this is where you throw your hands up in frustration. That's impossible. I mean, like, how could you write a book if you have never seen a book? And that's the entire point. That is what creativity is. Creativity isn't about pulling things out of your asshole and out comes a new revelation. Creativity is about referencing. There is nothing new under the sun. Everything that you need to be creative is already here. The ship has landed and the land is free to plunder. Whatever we need to be creative, we already have in front of us. But if there is nothing new under the sun, then how do you explain the invention of new things? Like, let's say the new, I don't know, iPhone 15 or ChatGPT. How do you explain that? Because those things look like new things, so clearly some people can create new things, right? Well, not really, because for that to be an iPhone 15, iPhone 14 must exist before that. The iPhone 14 is a reference for the iPhone 15 to become a better phone. And that is what creativity is all about. You are using what already exists to make something new. Even with the iPhone example, we can go all the way back to iPhone 1. What is before an iPhone 1? I mean, first, phones that look like bricks and are constantly plugged into life support exist. Then, I guess buttons exist. So what if they made the screen, the buttons? So it becomes touchscreen. Then, the Nintendo Game Boy existed, which is like this small digital game that looks like a calculator that you can fit in your pocket. So why don't we just combine that with some tried and tested alchemy and boom, out comes an iPhone. Of course, the process is much more complicated than that, but you get my point. That is the entire essence of creativity and innovation. When you are creative, you are using what already exists as a reference point to create something new. You are stealing references in order to use later. Even the artist Pablo Picasso once said, "Art is theft." Why do artists need to go to a museum or scroll Pinterest to get inspiration? What they're doing is to get references to base their work on. Again, they're taking something that already exists to make something new. So practically, how do you become more creative? I think by now you must recognize that creativity is not something that you need to be born with. Creativity is a skill. Creativity is like a muscle. The same way I vigorously exercise my gluteus maximus at the gym is the same way that you can exercise your creative muscle. It is the skill of getting good references and mashing them together in order to produce an original result. So to be creative, get more references. Listen to a different genre of music. Go to museums to look at different types of art. Read a book you have never heard of before. Watch a movie from a different country. Speak to people different from you. Keep getting more and more references and form your own internal library of references to steal from in order to take inspiration and create your own original work. Take the small details you like about one piece of work and then take another inspiration from another piece of work and then mash them together. Do this 100 times and soon you will get your own original work. Exercise your creativity more often. Dedicate some time of your day to mash together some of the references that you have gained over the day. The more often you mash references, the more likely you will get an original result. Share your work. You will not know if your references is good until somebody else has an opinion about it. I made a video some time ago on the mindset to learn new things effectively. But long story short, what you can gain from that video is that in order to grow and in order to improve, you need to get feedback. The most effective way to get feedback is through sharing your work. The more feedback you get and take into account, the better your work will become and will improve into the future. So if the point is not in your head yet, number 1, creativity is a part of nature. Number 2, creativity is a skill. And number 3, creativity can be taught and learned. And remember, nothing is original. Everything has a reference. This does not just apply to like art or music or any of those creative works. It can even apply to stuff like business or fitness, even like things like public speaking. All of those have references too that you can steal from. So to summarize, number 1, get more references. Number 2, exercise your creativity. And number 3, share your work. Wash your hands, rinse and repeat 100 times, 1000 times, and soon you will be more creative. That's all for me. See you guys. Goodbye.